Hey guys, welcome to the True Blue Riffcast with your hosts, Jeremy and Dave. My name is Christine DeBelle, but many of you know me as Susan from A Talking Cat. And as you know, I have to go and get my cheese puffs out of the oven. So have a great time with Jeremy and Dave. See you soon.
Thanks, Christine. This is the True Blue Riffcast, the number one RiffTrax podcast in the world. I am Jeremy, and I am joined, as always, by...
I'm Dr. Ted Nelson.
Hey, Josh Flowers is here in the chat with us.
Oh, hi, Josh.
I'll be talking about Josh Flowers in a couple minutes.
Once the Josh Flowers Blue Wrist Calf now.
Yes. Yes. No, it's, we finally got to hang out a little bit down in Nashville before RiffTrax Live RAD, which is, of course, what we're going to be discussing today. And I'm super excited.
You are.
It changed me a little bit. Dave made the prediction a couple months ago in the podcast.
Yeah.
And
he sent me the clip, and I was just like, wow. Well, I was correct.
Yeah.
I mean,
he said it was going to change my life. And it definitely changed me in a good way. But how are things going, Dave?
They're going okay, I guess. I mean, I didn't go to RiffTrax Live in Nashville. I went in. I know if you're a listener of the True Blue Riffcast, there was a minute where we talked about how we were both going to go, and I did buy a ticket. Hang on. I did buy a ticket.
Yep.
And I was going to go, but circumstances caused me to buy this thing. And also the free plane ride that I thought that I was going to have there turned out to be not so free.
Yeah.
It's not great. So like all the money I kind of had that I would have used to go there.
It kind of vanished. Yeah.
So it was either buy this car and and have a livelihood, or go to Nashville. And I foolishly I opted this.
I mean, I know it is a tough call, but
yeah.
So now we're even on a live show.
We are definitely
in persons. We both are one and one now. Hopefully next year we can both make it too.
I think after everything you told me, I don't even think I have a choice. I think people are just assuming that, or just like not assuming, just be like, or just I've been like, no, you're coming next year. Not just you, apparently. There were people on Facebook who was like, no, you're coming next year. What? Huh?
Yeah, we had not only that, but there were a few people from RiffTrax that were asking where Dave was.
Yes,
including,
let's talk about that.
Sean and Connor were both, and Eric, our friend Eric from RiffTrax. They were all asking where Dave was.
And I felt like, I was like, oh, I didn't know it was going to be like that.
Yeah, they actually noticed that he wasn't there. So,
and sorry guys, I was gonna.
Yeah, next year we'll make it up next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm back to the normal grind. Now you may have noticed that I finally did some things with the podcast.
Oh,
since I've been back.
Feed, yeah.
I have
Jeremy is I was just gonna say Jeremy is he's pumped up. He's motivated.
Oh yeah, 100%. I got all of the backlog of episodes thrown together, and they are all scheduled to go up. I did post the schedule on the True Blue RiffTrax group on Facebook and on the True Blue Riffcast X account, I guess. I don't know what to call it anymore. But
why bother?
I just use it because that's all I use it for. My personal account, I'm not signed in anymore. It's not going to be touched ever again, as far as I'm concerned. But just for the podcast, just so people know what's going on. So today we had the Bad Pack go up. Tomorrow at noon is going to be Ironheart. The day after that is our 100th episode where we did the Castle of Fu Manchu. Then we have Bridget and Mary Jo's Inspector Mom, the episode after that. The Bog.
Yeah.
And Fatal Combat. I don't have the actual names of the movies in the title, so I'm looking and I'm like, okay, driving and parking. That's
what joke
Ironheart.
is this? Yeah.
Me, you, and 100 Fu Manchus. I mean, that's for, beefy bog
That's
boys.
for the 100th, yeah.
And you don't know the meaning of value. One of the best
You don't
lines.
know the meaning
from,
of value. I
one
want
of the
a
best
shirt
lines
that says
from.
that. I have to design one that says "You don't know the meaning of value." We can sell it on our Redbubble.
Yeah. Speaking of shirts, we have some merch up. On the Redbubble store, my Redbubble shop. I posted a link to it on Facebook and on Twitter, I think. And yeah, it's just our logo, But hey, if you want to, what did I say? If you want to tell everybody the name of the number one podcast, number one RiffTrax podcast in the world, then now you can show everybody. Yes, Josh,
right there,
you can,
right there on your shirt, on your clothes,
on your shirt or a hat.
Who designed
or,
that, Jeremy?
That was Dave's design. He's the one who made our lovely little logo there. Yeah, Josh said people can now actually listen to the podcast. Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's the entire season so far.
Yeah,
was
all
what
of
I had to put up.
2023, yeah.
And I've even started updating the website because I forgot we had a website for a while. I just got an email that it was going to be renewed, so I'm like, oh, yeah.
Oh, right.
I should actually
TrueBlueRiffcast.com, yeah.
update the website.
Is
so
it
that's,
True Blue Riffcast or is it
it's
TB Riffcast?
TrueBlueRiffcast.com. I'm still
I don't
working
even
on
know.
getting that one updated because I'm somewhere in the middle of 2022 as far as updating that one. So I've got a little while to go, but it's easy. It's just a little tedious, and my brain likes to wander with all the ADHD.
I see how far this chair goes up. This goes up way further than I thought it would.
But that's what's been going on with the podcast. And then of course tonight's episode will be going up right after the one for Fatal Combat. And then the plan is after we do the shows on, which is Tuesday nights still, I'm going to upload the video to the Patreon because I'm going to start focusing on the Patreon again, believe it or not. And then the next day, the audio will go. Yeah, we do still have some patrons.
Is
I
it
think Josh
by,
is one of
it's
them.
not by month or by whatever?
It's by month, yeah.
By creation.
But all we have, I got rid of the 2 higher tiers because it's like nobody's doing it anyway.
Pointless.
It's,
I know
so we
it's going
just
to pay us
have
$20 a month.
Yeah, I just
What
hey,
are we,
there's the
Chat
long
GPT?
shot. So it's if you want to support us on Patreon, you can do so for $2 a month, which is basically just over the cost of one short from RiffTrax. So
It's shorts.
yeah, shorts. Which that's going to be making a comeback on our next episode too. I'm going to bring back the short reviews of RiffTrax shorts.
Oh.
The only reason I'm not doing it tonight is because we do already have some shorts to talk about that were part of the live show, and we will get
the Gumby
there.
stuff.
Yeah, we will get there in a little bit. But first, we're going to take a look at the weekend box office. Number one movie, Blue Beetle from Warner Brothers DC Entertainment. Barbie slips down to number 2, which is Barbie is over $500 million now, just in the U.S.
There are people. When I went to RiffTrax Live, there was like people still dressing up to go to the Barbie movie, and it just made me want to vomit.
Well, we dressed up. Well, my wife dressed up for RiffTrax.
That's different. It's because I like it.
Yeah.
It's called the double standard.
Oppenheimer is third place. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in number 4, and the new 100% not for children Will Ferrell comedy Strays is in 5th place. That one is talking dog movie, and it's not for kids, guys. It looks like it would be. Yes, he's a talking dog trying to get home to his owner who hates him and tries to strand him places. And it is very, very foul-mouthed. I saw some clips and...
That's horrible!
Yeah. Thank you, Josh. Josh said that my wife is super nice, and I tend to agree with that. And
I think your wife is super
best that
nice,
way.
Josh.
Yes, your wife is very nice. Yeah, I haven't seen any of these movies in the top 5 yet. I don't know when I will.
I don't know if I'm going to see any of them.
I mean,
I saw Interstellar. I watched it because it was the first Nolan movie that I saw, since The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, we'll look at some Christopher Nolan movies. I think I was trying to prepare myself for Oppenheimer back when I thought I might want to see that movie. And I watched Interstellar. I was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I couldn't believe how dumb it was. And I just heard that the soundtrack for Oppenheimer was just oppressive.
Was it like going from The Martian to Artemis? Because
well, how did we? So are we going to talk about 372 books on this podcast now?
Well,
because I have some things.
Yeah, we can talk about that. I mean, it is RiffTrax related. It's Connor and Mike, and I just started listening to the episodes about Artemis actually on the way home from Nashville. We listened to the first episode, and holy crap, that book sounds
really bad. I actually started reading that last year when I started doing overnights again on audio, and I was like, this is so bad. This is really bad.
Yeah, it's
but the thing is, I hadn't read The Martian or Project Hail Mary in a while, and reading Artemis for the podcast was just oh my gosh, I think this guy might have been always terrible.
You're just hiding
and
really
you
well.
Just no, you just have to reevaluate, and you just when it's right there in front of you, this guy is a douchebag, and you're just and then you go back, you listen to the Martin, all the same stuff is there.
Josh says Artemis is one of the worst books that they've done.
It is really bad.
It's the stuff that I listened to so
super
far
bad. The one they're doing now, the Starlight Barking, is I think it's the best written book. It's just really kind of really kind of crazy.
Bonkers. It is bonkers.
It is, yeah. I have to listen to that book too. Yeah.
No,
it's not. I don't know. I wouldn't say it was bad.
No, it's just bonkers.
It's crazy. Yeah.
It's for those of you who don't know, it's a sequel to 101 Dalmatians.
101 Dalmatians,
where the dogs end up having superpowers.
For
the entirety of the book.
They could talk through thought waves,
and they can fly or whoosh or whatever.
There's some serious super constitution action happening with Cat Pig. And it's just where the Dalmatians are the superior race of all dogs, except the corgis who hang out at Buckingham Palace.
Yeah.
I think that's a joke about the Queen.
Probably.
She's dead.
Man. She's dead now, so we can stop it. Speaking of things that we could stop, I wish we could stop this man, James Wen. Let's look at what the hell James Wen is up to. I'm not going to put it up because I haven't quite mastered this new way of us doing the podcast, so
it's also pointless.
Yeah, it's kind of pointless with him, unless it's another really crazy painting that makes him look like Bobby Hill again. But he has a post about it's a great thing. There are efforts to fix climate change by removing CO2 from Earth's atmosphere. Since 1750, industrial civilization has emitted over 4.2 trillion ton of CO2 into the Earth's atmosphere. This massive amount of CO2 is the main cause of climate change, global warming. There it is, all just that one phrase. To fix climate change, global warming, climate fix, 20 billion ton of CO2 I feel like I just had a stroke, had been removed from Earth's atmosphere per year for the next 10 years. Oh, so when 2 trillion ton of CO2, or at least 1 trillion ton, is removed, we will get back to the normal weather, the Garden of Paradise. And then his very next, well, I'm going to skip his next post. Oh, no, that's a weird on here. I'm used to looking this up on Twitter, and it's on Facebook, and it's just not. This one from 2 days ago. Today, at the request of the Academy in Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, at the request now. I don't think that's accurate. James Wen sends Birdemic 3 Sea Eagle screenplay to Oscars library. Yeah, nobody's asking for that, James. Nobody is asking for that.
No one's asking for... Now, what is it? Sea Eagle, you said?
Yeah, Birdemic 3 Sea Eagle. Because it was accepted for consideration for the Oscars.
It was?
Because he submitted it. That's his. Yeah, Josh put library in quotes. Yeah, 100% right on that. Oh man! All right, I
library, airport, and massage parlor. It's not in. It's in Los Angeles, Oregon.
Yeah. Oh man! All right, I can't hold back anymore, Dave. We got to talk about RiffTrax Live.
Go for it, bro.
I've been so excited to talk about this with everybody, to share with everybody what my experience was of actually finally getting to go to a live show. And, of course, it was the 1986 film RAD, a movie that I personally had been obsessed with as a kid, and I still watch it every now and then as an adult. Yeah, I love this movie. I know it's not great, but when I was a kid, this was like, oh man, this movie's awesome. I wish I could ride my BMX like that.
I never even heard of it.
I used to literally rent this movie every other weekend, and I would watch it at least 3 times.
Why didn't you just buy it?
Because it wasn't available to buy anywhere. It had a release of VHS and Laserdisc in 1986, the year it came out. And after that, like, you just couldn't really find it. And it wasn't released again until May of 2020, when it got a Blu-ray release, a 4K restored Blu-ray, 4K UHD and Blu-ray release. So now I own it on Blu-ray. Other than that, it's all been VHS rips online and stuff like that.
So like the stuff we would watch on like YouTube and stuff?
Yeah, like that. So this was kind of a big deal for me personally, that like if I was going to go see a RiffTrax live, this one kind of had to be it. Like, just because this movie, you know, personally means a lot to me. And so, you know, a couple months ago, I was kind of just joking around with my wife. I didn't really think I'd get the answer that I wanted. One of our friends was driving down to Nashville, and I'm like, I want to go to Nashville. And she said, okay. And then I said, for August 17th. And she was like, yeah, okay, we'll plan it.
See, all you had to do was ask your wife.
Yeah. So literally, I went home that day and found a hotel, and the rest is history now.
The rest is history, yes.
It's
all over.
It's all over, yeah. So we decided we would go down. We missed our 20th anniversary vacation last year because I was changing jobs, and we just couldn't really go do anything. And so this was kind of like a delayed anniversary trip, about a month after our actual anniversary. So we went down for an extra day, so we'd have a day just to kind of do what we did and walk around Nashville. It's a long drive. It's a long drive from Michigan down to Nashville.
Let me tell you something about Nashville. When you fly into Nashville and you go into like the airport, and also like on like the highways that lead out of the airport, these people want you to know the kind of music they like to listen to. Like, it is just like country music. They want you to be aware that you are the country music capital of every everywhere, the universe, the multiverse, whatever. It's crazy.
I'm sure. We did end up like we walked down Music Row, and that was kind of neat seeing some of like the recording studios, you know, like the RCA studio and Sony Music and Universal and all that stuff. But after our drive down there, we left here. It was 4 a.m. Eastern time, and we ended up getting down there around 3:30 Central time. We did make a couple stops because we were going to get there too early to check into our hotel and all that stuff. So we got it timed out pretty good. Got down there.
What time did you get there?
It was 3:30 Central time. So it would have
okay.
been 4:30 our time. So about 12 hours after we left. But not all of that was driving. So it was about 9.5 hours of actual drive, which is still really long. And of course I went through Cincinnati. Don't do that.
You don't
if you can
like
avoid
Cincinnati,
don't drive through Cincinnati.
Is that like driving through Chicago? I don't think I've ever driven through Cincinnati.
Not quite as bad as Chicago, at least not when we went, but we were just on the other side of morning rush hour. So
Cincinnati's down by Kentucky, right?
yeah, it's like Cincinnati, and then there's the border, and then Louisville's like right there. Like it's all just like one big cluster.
Midwest geography.
Yeah. We're not square states like you guys out there.
I was in Wyoming the other day.
That is a very square state.
I might move there.
I lived there for a while and I loved it.
Lived in Wyoming?
Yeah, for about a year and a half. Yeah, 5th and 6th grade I lived there. But
I might be
yeah,
moving there, so.
that's cool. We went down there. We got checked in. We rested for a little bit, and then I got a message from Josh Flowers, and he's like, "Hey, you guys want to go meet up for dinner?" And I'm like, "Sure, we can do that." And so we found a little Asian restaurant, kind of across from the Belcourt Theater, called Meat
Now, when
Noodles.
you told me this, that you guys went on your couple's date, which is why I don't think I might have been too welcome because I'm the only single person here. So next year I'm gonna have to be married by the time I get there. Otherwise, you guys aren't gonna want to have anything to do with me. So
You'll be a fifth wheel.
But yeah, I'll be like, oh, I'm just hanging out. I don't have a lady.
Oh no, you'd be fine, Dave.
But I was just like, they went to an Asian restaurant across the street from wherever, and like, are they trying to be like Birdemic?
No, we weren't trying to recreate Birdemic. I did tell Josh that you said that, and he realized what we were doing as soon as I mentioned it to him. But we had a really nice dinner. We went and got some ice cream around the corner and hung out for a little while. And so that was really fun. They're both really awesome people. As if we didn't know that already. I mean,
we did, yeah.
You know, Colette from her doing the voice work on your book. And
on my audiobook, for crying out loud.
Yeah, she did. Which one? Son of Santa, right?
And she did Son of Santa, and she doesn't think I'm crazy, or at least I don't think she does. I don't know.
She didn't say one way or the other.
She didn't say I was. She didn't say like, oh my gosh, this guy, the things he writes. I don't know. He crippled. In A Christmas Story, he crippled a guy.
She did say that there were some things in the final chapter that were a little weird. She said. When I first read it.
I want to hear this. What did she say?
Well,
I think
it had something to do with a pig. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. No.
We'll let people listen to it and learn it themselves.
I thought it was pretty funny.
She just said she didn't expect to be saying some of those things out loud. But yeah, that was fun. And then
that's
the next
super
day,
funny.
The next day, we ended up wandering around Nashville. We walked a lot. We ended up walking a total of 9.5 miles that day. 6 miles to start things off, and we got down where we were, and my wife was just like, we need to get some Gatorades, and you need to make a plan. Can't just wander around. We're going to figure out where we actually want to walk to, and then we can go there, because it was starting to get a little warm. Still not super bad by August standards in Tennessee, but it was still pretty toasty. I ended up getting a pretty good sunburn on my neck.
You guys weren't
and stuff.
sweating a lot?
Oh yeah,
it's
humid
humid
we
there.
were totally sweating a lot. It wasn't. One of my other friends here that we were talking to about being in Nashville this time of year said that it's normally the humidity is like you're breathing hot Vaseline.
That's
thankfully
not
it wasn't that bad. It wasn't,
disturbing.
the air wasn't that thick or anything. So we ended up going back to the hotel for a little bit, cooling off in the AC, and then we walked over to this place called the Parthenon, which is a recreation of... Yeah, it's a Greek Parthenon building that they built 100 years ago in Nashville. And we got we got accosted by some environmentalist group where we got stuck talking to them for like a half hour because they were like trying to sweet talk us into giving them monthly donations of however much it was.
Why didn't you just walk away?
I don't know. I think I was just too tired.
You don't have to be like Brontosaurus guy and his girlfriend in Birdemic 3 and just sit there and go watch these environmentalists just like shouting in their printed signs. Remember that? That's how I imagine you enjoyed just like going and talking to these environmentalists.
A lot of Birdemic
just
going on.
Just sitting there just like watching them be like...
No, we were just too tired at that point. We didn't really care. And then we walked
Save
away.
our future.
And then, we got maybe, I don't know, we went around the corner, and here comes some homeless guy on a bike. We must have just had, tourists, stamped on our foreheads or something. And he was like, I'm a Vietnam veteran, and I took shrapnel in the war, and I don't know where my next meal's coming from, and so I ordered him a couple burgers from McDonald's on the mobile app, and he just went down and picked them up. Whatever, it's whatever. I'm the type person I'll buy you some food. I'm a feeder. That's my love language, I guess, as it were. I feed people.
Okay, now this might make me sound like a dick, but I'm the exact opposite. Like if panhandlers come up to me, my policy is that they're all scam artists.
Yeah.
So I just be like, no, just move along. That's my policy.
So then we went into this place.
Yeah.
And they have a massive statue of Athena in the middle of this Parthenon.
Athena, I will go.
And
that's like the best joke I've ever told.
Athena, I gotta try and look this up because I want to see if I can see how big. Oh, it's a 42-foot tall statue
of Athena.
Yes, and it's crazy. I saw pictures of it, and I'm like, oh, it looks like it's kind of cool. And then you go into the room where it is, and it is just mind-blowingly massive. And so that was kind of cool. And then they had a whole bunch of the naked Greek dude statues, and so I like to tell people that I saw way more Wang than I was expecting to on my Wednesday down in Nashville, because that's not the only exposure that I had.
You didn't see any Wang at RiffTrax Live, did you?
No.
Okay.
Thankfully, no. But we were walking around. We checked out some bars. It's we at least should look at them. We're here. We might as well. We went to this place.
Look at the bars in Nashville.
Yeah, we went to this place called the Kung Fu Saloon, and they have a bunch of old arcade cabinets and stuff in there that are all set to free play, so you can just go in and play whatever games you want while you're drinking. And, you know, they had, like, Miss Pac-Man and NFL Blitz, and, of course, they had Golden Tee and all that stuff.
Blitz? Oh, wow.
But they had a crane game in there, and...
You know, those things are rigged. You can't win.
And all of the prizes in the crane games were marital aids.
Why?
I don't know, but it was just a machine full of wangs. Again, I saw way too many wangs while I was down in Nashville. At least none of them were like real. So I have that to be thankful for, I guess. But
They weren't real?
no, they weren't like on a person. Like,
Oh, well, okay, I see. I understand.
yeah, they were manufactured. They were all manufactured. And then the next day, of course, was RiffTrax Live Day. So we went and we got in line for our line tickets at 8 a.m. They opened the doors to give you your line tickets at 10 a.m. And we went, and I figured there'd probably be a few people ahead of us. And I was pretty close. I thought maybe it would be 10. We ended up getting seats number 21 and 22. So that was pretty fun. Talked to some really nice people in the lines.
Did you
RiffTrax stuff?
Sit next to Josh and Colette at the show?
No, I did not. I was gonna see if they wanted us to save them seats. Turns out they were in the VIP section. So
and you weren't.
I wasn't, but I was in like the 5th row, so it's pretty
fine.
close. Yeah, it was fine. We did end up sitting next to Jamie Hitchcock, who's another big RiffTrax fan. Yeah, been getting Christmas cards from her for the last couple years, and it was funny because we ended up having lunch with her. And before we went to meet her, my wife was just like, which one is this again? Who are we meeting today? And I said, this is the one who draws.
Which weirdo Misty is this?
Yeah, this is the one who draws and sends out the Christmas cards every year. She's like, oh, okay. So she got it from that. But we ended up hanging out with her and a couple other RiffTrax fans throughout the day, and that was fun. And then we went back in line, and that's when the real fun started, because in the morning I had been able to get in a quick hi to Eric and Peter. They were both kind of busy, so I didn't really get to talk to them too much. And then in the regular line to go in to get our seats, I was talking to Eric again, and he said that, normally the guys, Mike, Kevin, and Bill, will walk down the line and say hi to people. He said they're not doing that this year. And then he said, but Bill Allen, the star of RAD, is here, and he's going to be riding his bike down the line. So I immediately got excited for that because, like I said, he was a huge fan of this movie. And then when he came out, he was doing the back half of the line first, and they were filming some B-roll. And then I look over, and because I kind of saw Sean and Connor over there, and I was going to go say hi, and I look over, and there's Bridget.
Con and Shauner.
Yes, Con and Shauner. But Bridget was standing there, and I just went.
Did she recognize you?
Not right away.
Okay.
But ultimately she did, which was crazy to me. But I just kind of went, oh my God, it's Bridget. And Joy's like, what? I'm like, it's Bridget. She's standing right over there.
Yo, Bridget Nelson.
Yeah. So I went over and I said hi to Sean first. And then I said hi to Bridget and introduced myself, and she knew who I was. She is familiar with the podcast.
That's crazy to me.
Right? That blew my mind a little bit there.
Yeah.
So I got a picture with her. I got a picture with Sean, and then a picture with Con and Sean are together. And a picture with Eric where I had given him the bottle of syrup, which I know I've talked about on here before. But the whole bottle of syrup thing was an accidentally sent email to him that just said syrup in the subject line. I don't know what happened. I don't know how, but that's what he got. And he sent back, "You better bring the syrup." And this was
hilarious.
8 years ago, roughly. And so I had started taking a bottle of syrup with me to all the RiffTrax Live shows, taking a picture of it in front of the slides. I'm just like, yeah, I brought the syrup. So I'm like, all right, I have to actually give him a bottle of syrup. And I did, and it was funny. He showed me a gift that he had commissioned for Connor, which was a painting of Garfield as Bartman.
It's hilarious.
It was great. It looked fantastic. And I even got to watch him open it after the show, which was kind of cool. But we went in, watched the show.
Okay, now I have a question about. Of course, I want to make this all about me. When you talked to Bridget and she knew about the podcast, did she say anything about me not being there?
I said that Dave was supposed to be here also, but some things last minute happened and he wasn't able to make it. And she said, "Oh, that's too bad."
Oh.
So there was mention. Eric asked me, he's like, "So where's Dave? Is he in line somewhere now?" And I'm like, "No, he wasn't able to make it last minute, you know." And so he was sad about that too. Connor also asked where Dave was.
That I wasn't there.
Yeah,
that's all I care about because is it narcissism or what's the thing where you're like, or maybe it's just self-centeredness.
Yeah. I don't think it's quite narcissism. I think it's that one.
Yeah.
And after the show, we went over to one of the hotels where everybody was staying, and hung out in the bar, and talked to almost everybody that was there. I didn't get Kevin before he took off, so I was kind of sad about that. But I went over to I talked to Jason Miller, who's been on the podcast. And I was talking to him and Sean and Connor and Bill all at the same time. We were just hanging out, and Peter was there, and Joy was over there. We were just having a nice. Yep, we were just having a nice conversation. Josh Flowers saw us talking and took a picture of all of us while we were just standing there chatting away. So that was kind of neat to get that. And then Joy grabbed me by the hand, and she's like, "Come on." And I'm like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "Come on, we're just going to go over there." And I went, "What are you doing?" And she pulled me right over to Mike. It was just like... "Hi."
Right over to Mike Nelson.
Yeah, can my husband get a picture with you? He's a big fan. He's been a huge fan ever since Mystery Science Theater. And he was like, "Oh, yeah, sure." And Bill was standing there, so Bill jumped in. And then we ended up getting photobombed by Bill Allen, the star of RAD, which was amazing. And then I went over and I was talking to him and his brother. Turns out his brother is a huge RiffTrax fan. Like to the people that we talk to, Dave, he's on that same level of fandom.
Wow.
That was the whole reason that they were there in the first place. And so that was really cool. Like he was talking about his favorite references that they were making to other RiffTrax things from the live show, and it was a lot of fun. And he has subscribed to the podcast, so
that's amazing.
So hello when you finally get to this episode. And I got to talk to Bill Allen for a while, which was
brother.
It was really fun talking to Bill Allen, because again, huge fan of the movie, and I told him that I rented it every weekend growing up, and we watched it all the time, and that back in 2017, 2016, somewhere around there, was when I introduced Connor to RAD the first time. And so he was very impressed with that, and he actually thanked me, and he said that if I wouldn't have done that, they might not have been there doing that movie that night. So that was kind of neat to hear. It was fun to hear. Yeah, so I have just been like riding high off of all of that, off of meeting everybody, and yeah, it was really cool. I did talk to Bridget a little bit more after that. We mostly ended up talking about Matthew J. Elliott.
Wow, that's a sentence.
Yeah, which is not exactly how I expected.
I don't think that's ever been a sentence that's been uttered before. We mostly ended up talking about Matthew J. Elliott.
And
that's an amazing sentence. We should clip that and send it to him.
Yes, we'll have to. Josh, get on that. Clip that for me, please, if you can. If you're even still in there. Yeah, send me the link and I'll send it to Matthew J. Elliott. I don't even know if Josh is still in here. To be clear,
no, it's a great sentence. I'm not being a dick.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic sentence. People should say it more.
But she was surprised that I knew who he was.
Why wouldn't
that
you?
I talked to him? Like, yeah, she's like, oh my gosh, she knows
Matthew J. Elliott.
She leaned over to somebody who was like, he knows Matthew J. Elliott. Like, and she was talking about how impressed she was with his ability to quickly write quality scripts. She was like, he'd have a line ready, and I'd start a line, and then I'd look back at it, and he'd have like 6 more lines done. And she's like, I just can't keep up with him when he's writing. And so I thought that was quite the compliment. We all love Matthew J. Elliott around here. He's one of the friends of the podcast.
He's one of our besties, yeah.
So yeah, I've been riding high on that experience ever since. And now I'm super motivated and all that stuff to actually do things with the podcast. So it worked. But maybe we should actually talk about the movie for a little bit.
Oh yeah, maybe
a
little bit.
And not just about me. I mean,
well, I mean, I think that's kind of what this is going to be all about. Anyway, I mean, or has been. But I mean, okay, guys, the movie itself is not that impressive. Okay, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
If
you're an adult and it's the first time you've seen it, you're probably not going to.
The first time I've seen that, and I was just like, what is going on? Like I was like, oh, it's Boothby from Star Trek.
Yeah, so they started the show with a couple shorts, like we mentioned a little bit. They did 2 Gumby adventures. One was The Witty Witch, about a witch who decided she needed to kidnap people. That's a completely different kind of short there, Dave. But she had to kidnap people to put on her comedy show for them, which literally involved her playing a couple keys on a piano, leaning over to the inside of the piano because it was out of tune or whatever, and then getting hit in the face with a pie. And Gumby didn't see it because he was scared that she was going to put a spell on everybody. And so he's like, if you don't look, she can't put the spell on us. And Pokey refused to tell him what it was. Which was, I don't know, kind of funny. I would probably do something like that. Somebody like, no, I'm not going to tell you, man. Like, forget it. You missed it. That's all there is to it. And then they did The Hidden Valley, which was... Yeah, no, they
that was
I think Mike said that was before they bought the ranch and started making salad dressing. But they were looking for basically the Valley of Dinosaurs, and they found it, and they got attacked by a T-Rex, and their car could fly because of magic spring water, and that's it. That's the whole thing. They were funny, as the Gumby shorts have proven. Man, I got the Gumby sharts today. And then we got to move on to the main event, RAD.
Rad.
So this movie stars, of course, Bill Allen as the main
I
character,
actually have
Crew
questions about this
Jones.
movie. I'm going to pull up the Wikipedia article
Yeah.
for it to see if I can even remember what they were.
I'll keep talking for a minute.
Okay.
Lori Loughlin is in it as Christian Hollings, who was a like a street BMX trick person. I don't know. She didn't do like all the races and stuff. She just did like bunny hops and like other stuff on her bike. And she hates
there was a lot
people
more
bringing this movie up to her. She absolutely
a lot more
hates
hopping.
this movie.
She hates it. She hates
Oh, yeah.
the fact that people bring up Rad to her.
Yes.
I think she would rather talk about Rad than something else.
Yeah. This movie also stars Talia Shire.
How was prison?
For those of you who might not know, she was Adrian in the Rocky movies. She was in
Talia Shire. Okay.
Yeah, she was in The Godfather Part 2. I don't.
Yeah, how did they get her in this movie? Like,
okay,
she's got pull. She didn't have to be in Rad.
There's a story behind this. Her husband, at the time, was the owner of the production company that made this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Her husband was Jack Schwartzman, who's Jason Schwartzman's dad. Talia Shire is his mom. Jason Schwartzman. He's in a lot of the Wes Anderson movies, and he was. Let's see. I'm trying to find out something that you might recognize him from, but I don't know because there's always a lot of stuff that I bring it up and you're like, oh yeah, I've never seen that.
Let's test it.
He's been in a ton of stuff. He was in, let's see, Scott Pilgrim versus the World. He was the main bad guy.
I haven't seen it.
Again, a ton of Wes Anderson stuff. Rushmore, Darjeeling Limited, Grand Budapest Hotel, French Dispatch, Moonrise Kingdom, Asteroid City. He was in an episode of Parks and Rec.
We're gonna keep going until we've got to something that I've actually seen because it is a perfect score so
Comedy
far.
Bang Bang, Wet Hot American Summer, the Fargo TV series.
Okay, we got it. What was he in Fargo? No, it was Fargo that did it because I've seen
Justo
season 2 of
Fada
that.
or something like that. So
Must have been because I only watched season 2.
But that's Talia Shire is his mother, which I didn't know until I heard all of this when we were waiting in line for.
Women have babies?
What? This movie also starred Ray Walston from South Pacific, My Favorite Martian, Of Mice and Men, Go Paint Your Wagon, The Sting, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, all kinds of stuff. And
is that Boothby?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, Star Trek Boothby. Yep, there it is.
Yeah. If you don't know who Boothby is, GTFO. Stop flamming, you preps.
And then, like, the main bad guy, I guess, he was the guy who owned the club in Dirty Dancing. He was in Short Circuit 2. He was like the skeezy bad guy in that that was trying to convince Johnny Five to do stuff for him. But he's also been in a ton of things. But the movie is about Crew Jones, of course. He lives in a small town with his little sister Wesley and their mom. He's a paper boy, and with a couple of his friends, they love riding BMX and all this stuff. And then the Mongoose Company is sponsoring a race in this little town called Hell Track. And if you win Hell Track, you win $100,000, a brand new Corvette, and then you get to like be a racer for that company. And Crew wanted to try out for this because they're like, oh yeah, locals can qualify too, and and the bad guy kept like making it harder and harder. He kept putting like more obstacles in Crew's way. But the main
I have this 3-ring binder that magically lets me change the
Yes.
rules.
The main rub here for Crew was that his mom was forcing him to take his makeup SAT test, and that was the same day that qualifiers were happening.
Hold
for
on,
RiffTrax.
wait a second. I would like to point out that his mom is correct.
Yeah.
She was right about everything she said.
Yeah, so of course he ends up doing it anyway.
You're not going to be able to make a living riding your bike.
Well,
Not a
he's a
thing.
paper delivery guy, and he also works at like a diner, because there's this guy like the cook there that he really hates, and of course Mr. What the hell was his name in the movie? Bart Taylor.
Dude, all the auxiliary characters, all like the other characters other than like Crew and Lori Loughlin, you can't keep track of. Like why they're important and who they are and what their names are. like this film has a wide and rich cast, but none of them have anything to do. Like you're supposed to care about I think the movie assumes you know who all these characters are, but it does a very poor job of introducing them, what their roles are, and everything. But they'll frequently cut back to the other characters, and you're like, okay, who is this? Like, because you haven't seen them in 40 minutes.
Right. Like there was a pair of twins that were also riders for the same company that Bart Taylor, the #1 BMX rider in the nation.
Oh, was
for.
that the guy in the orange sweater?
The guy in the orange sweater.
The other writer.
Yeah, the other like main rider. He was
like
his rival, I guess.
He was this prep. Be like, oh, pardon me, boys. Which way to the Kennebunkport Yacht Club? That guy?
Yes, him.
Okay.
That was Bart Taylor. And so of course, Crew gets in. He qualifies for the race because he's got the thunder in his heart, and it sounds just like lightning or whatever the song was that played through the entirety of all of the qualifier races. Like that song just kept going.
No, those races. Now, when we got to that part of the movie, because the whole time, like while they were like training and stuff, it seemed like the only thing they cared about was like performing tricks on their bikes, and that's what they were like ramps and like. There was a lot more bouncing on their tires, like what you call those bunny hops. There was a lot more focus on that, especially early on. It's just like, what are they doing?
The whole
Why
opening,
are they doing that?
The whole title sequence was showing people doing tricks like that, and up until this point too, Crew was also training to do a backflip on his bike.
And he just like completely wipes out. But the whole thing is that like, okay, it was very trick oriented.
Yeah.
Now everyone's racing, and I was just like, wait a second, and like all these right, and there was like hundreds of them. It was insane. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And none of them acted like they were all focused on like doing their tricks, but none of them looked like they had trained on this course. They were wiping out.
Oh yeah, there was some.
It's just
there
like,
was some brutal.
Did anybody? Yeah.
There were some brutal looking spills.
Did any of these people like go on this track? I mean, like it had to have been available to them to practice on. I think. Oh my gosh,
apparently not.
Crazy.
But also before the qualifiers, Crew has a dance scene, if you can call it a dance scene, with Lori Loughlin's character. Bart Taylor and the two twins go out and they're dancing because the town's just throwing a dance. And they're out there dancing to the song Music That You Can Dance To by the Sparks. And then she's like, grab your bike, let's go. And he's like, what? And she's like, just follow me. And he's like, okay. And they ride into the dance, into the gymnasium where they're holding the dance.
Prom?
No, it's just a dance.
Oh, okay.
It's just a dance. Oh no, it is the prom. It is actually Crew Senior Prom. I thought it was just a dance because they never really mentioned that it's the prom.
I'd be pissed, but my senior prom was a disaster. So,
so they ride in there, and the DJ is like, "Oh, look at this! It's Christian Hollings, and she's gonna do a bicycle boogie for us. Is Bart gonna join her?" And he just like walks off, and he's like, "Oh, I guess not." And then Crew comes out, and he's like, "Oh, this is some local kid." Even though it's his school, like you'd think that the whoever they hired to DJ would at least know the local kids because it's not a very large town. And so they go out, they do a routine. They both have very sparkly shirts on for this, so the spotlight glints off of them. And they're doing they're calling it a bicycle boogie, even though it was all in slow motion. To the song "Send Me an Angel," which was an interesting choice, but they they do this huge dance, and sometimes it's Lori Loughlin, and sometimes it's the stunt person with a wig that's just as bad as the one in Samurai Cop.
Yeah, why like that's the go-to when everyone talks about wigs is that they always go to Samurai Cop.
I mean, that's what it looks like though. Like it looked like it was just awful. It was a bad wig. That's what we're saying. It was a bad wig. And they use that wig anytime that it's her stunt rider. And they go ass sliding, which was a very interesting choice of dialogue.
That's an interesting choice, yeah.
Because they never explained why it's called ass sliding, like they said in the riff. Technically, whenever you're sliding, you're ass sliding.
Keep talking. I'm going to move to get the sun out of my face.
So that was kind of weird. It was basically like a runoff, like a concrete runoff that went down into the river, and they used it like a water slide, and they called that going ass sliding. And they bring it up a few more times in the movie. Right before the last qualifying round, Crew stops and he's talking to her, and he's just like, "God, what I wouldn't give to take you ass sliding right now."
Oh my God.
So that was, that sure was a choice of dialogue. Good job, Hal. Yeah, I guess I should mention that this movie was directed by Hal Needham of Megaforce.
I feel like I should know who that is.
He directed Megaforce. He directed. He used to be a stuntman.
Oh, we talked about this, didn't we?
Yeah, he directed. Or he worked on Smokey and the Bandit and Cannonball Run and Stroker Ace.
Wow.
So he did a lot. Yeah, he directed The Longest Yard. A lot of stuff with...
the 2005 one?
No, the 1974 one with Burt Reynolds. He did a lot with Burt Reynolds. A lot with Burt Reynolds.
Is he still alive?
No.
Not Burt Reynolds, the director.
No, he died in 2013.
Oh. That is too bad.
So, there's that.
Oh my gosh, look how much better that looks.
Yes, it looks much better. Megaforce, they did just re-release as a Just the Jokes version. So if you were unlucky enough to buy the VOD, or unlucky enough to miss out on the VOD back when it was available, you could still get the riff. You just have to, have Megaforce to watch it with. Yeah. So he crew makes it in, and then they're like, "Oh, you have to be sponsored." And so they're like, "Okay," so they make their own company with the $10,000 that they won for the qualifying. They make a bunch of T-shirts and sell them.
Yeah, that T-shirt.
Which Lori Loughlin's character was trading work on shirts for better grades on their homework. So that's kind of like...
She was?
Yes. They were coming in and they were doing labor on the shirts while she was having all the nerds do the kids' homeworks for them. That was like their payment.
Wow. Foreshadowing.
Yes. There's actually a nice long conversation later in the movie, or in the movie also, where she's talking about going to college and how, you don't need to take the SAT now. You can do it again in 6 months, but you'll only get one chance to do a hell track. And so they were making a lot of jokes about about Lori Loughlin in college. That's where they kind of snuck them all in because it was fitting. Like that was right where.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay. Look, you're not gonna be able to avoid that.
Yeah.
Like she's right there. Like, of course you're gonna go there. It's kind of like, okay, there's David Carradine.
Yeah. What are you gonna say? You're gonna.
He died while masturbating.
And then so they have a sponsor, and then they change the rules again. That the sponsor must have at least $50,000 in sales capital or whatever.
See, I didn't buy this. I didn't buy that they could just change the rules.
And then all of the townspeople had a meeting to raise the money for crew, and I love the local cop in this area because he's like got like the old school.
What was his deal?
Highway police.
Was he just like playing with them? Was he just like my cat that wants to just like will come and pretend to antagonize me just so he can play?
Yeah. That's what it seemed to be. Like he was just kind of like goofing around with them. But he was played by Hard-Boiled Haggerty. Dan Stansock, who used to be a professional wrestler, known by the name of Hard-Boiled Haggerty. So I thought he was also in the Navy, and he also was a football player. Yeah. Yeah, come on. You call yourself a professional wrestler. Come on. He actually beat Killer Kowalski once for the IWA World Heavyweight Championship. That's interesting.
Oh, wow.
But they made a joke that he looked like Dr. Eggman, and he did because he was bald. He had the glasses and the big mustache, but he had like the old highway patrol officer like uniform on with like the big wide hip things, like the thigh, whatever those are called, those kind of pants where it like flares out at the thighs and goes down. I don't know what the hell they're called, but
bell bottoms.
No, those kind of flare out at the feet. This is like, I don't know what they're called, but it's you know what I'm talking about, I'm sure.
Yeah.
The film itself was all filmed in Canada, which is, they do that a lot. Canada for America. I don't remember where it was supposed to take place, though.
I think it just says in a small town.
Yeah, I thought it was maybe.
Although I gotta say, these people like Hollywood's definition of a small town is not what actual small towns are.
No,
like they think that Provo is a small town, and Provo is a sprawling metropolis. It's just smaller than L.A. To them, anything smaller than L.A. is a small town. Which, like, bro, no. You need to go to the towns of 5,000, 2,100, 4
you
to see what small towns
we have a small
really
town.
like.
I live in a small town. I don't live in a big town. He ends up making it to the race, obviously, and then he ends up winning it, obviously.
Yeah.
He wipes out once during the race, and he gets back up, and this is where the backflip from earlier comes in. He does a backflip to like skip like some turns on the course, and the announcer
seems like that shouldn't be allowed.
The announcer says my favorite line from the whole movie: "Hulk Hogan, eat your heart out."
He said that? I don't remember this at all.
That's what the announcer says after Crew does the backflip.
Hogan, eat your heart out.
Eat your heart out.
That doesn't make any sense.
Right? I don't know. I've never understood that one. Like my entire life watching this movie, I've never understood why the guy said that.
Hulk Hogan.
Other than the fact that Hulk Hogan was popular at the time and they wanted to get a name drop in there, I guess. I don't know. But Bart Taylor actually stops partway through the last lap and gives Crew Jones the chance to catch up because he was mad that the bad guy, Duke Best, the president of the Federation of American Bicyclists, wanted the twins to take him out. He wanted them to wreck crew, injure him, take him out of the race. And they were like, all right. And
did they fail or did they refuse to comply?
No, they failed. They failed.
Okay.
They tried, but they failed. And then, so Bart Taylor stops and waits for him, and then because he wants a fair race against him, and he loses to him. Crew wins, and the movie ends with Bart Taylor coming over, congratulating Crew on a good race,
and them holding the bike up.
And he's like, "Oh, well, if you're looking for a new company to race for, Rad Racing," and they hold his bike up, and that's the end of the movie.
It's so unsatisfying.
Yeah, we do see the Duke guy getting fired, but that's it. That's the movie. The budget for this movie was $3 million. It made $2 million in the box office. Kind of surprising.
Oh, so it lost money.
Well, and then I know it made
like
up for
Indiana
it in
Jones and
home video
and Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
Lost a lot of money.
But yeah, that's Rad in a nutshell, in kind of a big nutshell, because I did talk about it for a little bit. But I just think learning about who the actress who played his mom was very interesting, because I had never heard about any of that stuff. I didn't know that she was Francis Ford Coppola's sister, and Nicolas Cage and Sofia Coppola's aunt, or Jason Schwartzman's mom. I thought that was very interesting. And I did ask Bill Allen about something that I had heard about this movie, and I wanted to know if it was true or not. And it turns out it is not true.
Oh.
The international title for the movie is Hell Track. But it is said online that the original name for the movie was Balls Out. And so when the police officer he shouts up to Crew, because he's at the race watching it, and he tells Crew that he needs to win it and he needs to go balls out, everybody would have been like, oh, he said the thing, that is the title. But no, I asked Bill Allen about that, and he said that unfortunately was not true.
Oh, unfortunately.
So yeah, that was rad. That was my trip down to Nashville for my first ever in-person RiffTrax Live. I'm still gonna be riding high on this for a while. My wife asked if it was worth it. She's like, so how do you feel? And I said, well, here's when we took our kids to Walt Disney World a couple years ago, and we were finally able to do that.
Oh, no.
And here's me getting to go to RiffTrax Live. It's like
wait
there.
A second. I think you're lying. I think it's way higher than that.
No. It's not. It's actually not.
Okay.
Just because that's something that we had been wanting to do with our family forever, and we finally did it. And thankfully, it was the year before COVID when we made all of our plans to go do everything. So that was a blast. But this was almost exactly the same level for me personally. Like for her, obviously, it's not going to be as high, and probably not for some of the people who've gone to multiple RiffTrax Live shows in person.
Like Josh.
Yeah, it's not going to be the same, as your first time going. And I tell you what,
my first time going
was way different. You had a way different experience.
Was way different. Yeah, I had a way different experience. I
wasn't being attacked by a film director.
Like the show itself was great, but everything surrounding it was terrible. And had nothing to do with. It was. Everyone knows this story, so we don't need to rehash it.
Way different set of circumstances, but hopefully next year it'll be better. It'll be better next year. Yeah. But I have a lot of personal bias in this movie itself.
Mm-hmm.
This is so, and I doubt this is going to be beat for me. This is my front runner for Riff of the Year. Even if I wasn't actually able to go in person, it still would end up being like top of the cream of the crop for me so far this year. It's number one. It's gonna be hard pressed to do something better than this. The only thing that would push it off is if they did one of the other films that I've kind of been campaigning for.
What if they did Birdemic 3?
That wouldn't beat this. Haunted Ween would come close if they did that.
What if they did Carver's Gate?
God, Carver's Gate, that would be up there too. But that one's not going to happen. That one already got vetoed by Mike. So, but of course, Baby Ghost got vetoed by Mike too. Yeah, originally.
But apparently Mike's veto doesn't mean as much as it used to if they did Baby Ghost.
Yeah, because he didn't want to do that one, and he was definitely the voice of reason in that instance.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, we should have listened to him.
They
should have listened to him.
Bill, and Sean 100% blamed Connor for that one. They said Connor has been.
Us.
They said Connor has been the architect of our demise on more than one occasion. So yeah, but there you go. I think that's probably gonna do it for us for tonight too.
Okay, cool.
It's it's getting a little bit later. I want to go watch the first 2 episodes of Star Wars Ahsoka, which dropped they dropped at the same time that we started the podcast. I want to check those out. Also,
I might hate myself for asking this, but I still have Disney Plus for some reason. You want to do the True Blue Ahsoka cast, or do we kind of not want to commit to that after just like completely bailing on both Book of Boba Fett and Mando season 3?
Yeah. I think we can not try and do that.
Not commit to it. Yeah.
Not
just like
it might happen if it's really good.
Halfway through the season, we're like, "Buh," and then just pretend like we never started talking about
it. Never happened. Yeah. That's probably what we'll do.
Yeah. So okay. So no. Let's do some producing right here on the air like we usually do.
Yeah.
What we can like get through. Like, how many episodes are there?
How many episodes of Ahsoka?
Of Ahsoka, yeah.
Ahsoka. I don't know how many there are going to be. I know they did 2. They put up 2 tonight. How many episodes? It's gonna be 8 episodes.
8. Okay. So let's watch 3.
Okay. And then we'll figure out if we want to talk about it.
We'll judge, be like, okay, is this show going to be a colossal letdown or not? And then we're just, and, so, I mean, like, Mandalorian, I think we started talking about it in season 1 and 2. Like, those were great. We didn't anticipate. We just thought the show was going to continue to be great.
I still liked it. I thought it was still better than Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, but
too much. Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to do before we get off the air. I wanted to wish somebody a happy birthday. Today is Rick Sloan's birthday.
Oh,
director of Hobgoblins 1 and 2 and Blood Theater and Visitants and something else. Yes, Visitants. So happy birthday, Rick.
Happy birthday. You're amazing. Love you.
But yeah, that's it's gonna wrap us up, I believe, for today. If you enjoy this podcast and like hanging out with us live, you can of course follow us on Twitch. You can subscribe on Twitch. You can send us bits on Twitch. You can go to patreon.com/TrueBlueRiffCast and drop a couple dollars a month if you can or if you want to. Again, we don't expect anything of anybody. We just like hanging out.
No,
and,
we just do this. We don't get paid for this. What are
yeah,
you talking about?
No, anything that I do already get literally just goes back into it. Like it just goes towards buying other riffs for myself, and so we can talk about them on the air. Yeah. You can follow the podcast on X or Twitter or whatever the hell it's called now, until it collapses in on itself like a.
I don't know if it's going to collapse. But it's definitely not going to be what
star.
It was.
At TB Riffcast, that's still up and running, and I'm everywhere else under PB and Awesome, Blue Sky, Threads, Twitch, obviously, TikTok, Instagram. I don't know, whatever
TikTok.
other social medias are out there. Yeah, I've got a TikTok, Dave. I'm an old man on TikTok.
He was Zoomer.
Yep. I don't do any of the dance things though, Dave. It's okay.
Don't do any like the grimace shake or like. Can we talk like that lip sync garbage that they do?
Oh my gosh.
It's like
lip syncing is awful because nobody can do it properly. Like half the time they're just like move their mouth like a fish trying to breathe.
I really thought that the audio had cut out right there. I was like, oh no.
No, they just
if you
don't
want to talk
ever.
about lip syncing, I was in Wyoming the other day, and I was in this very famous truck stop called Little America Hotel. It's the biggest gas station in the world, and I've been there many times in my life. And like I might have even been talking to you about it. Like you go in there and you go into the restrooms, and the restrooms are like completely closed off. They're like little tiny murder parlors, and I came out and I came into the lobby, and that country song by George Strait was playing. Check yes or no. Do you love me?
Check
Do you
yes or
wanna
no.
Be my friend.
I'm familiar.
And if you do, now I started like lip syncing that, and I did it perfectly. And I'm like, how do I know this song? I don't. And I was like, this better look sexy as hell because, like. I was just like, I don't know why that just struck me to be like, oh my gosh. But then I thought back, I might as well just buy some Wranglers and some boots. But anyway, we're wrapping up. I'm Dave. You can check me out on Amazon and Audible. Dave Chadwick. Check out all my stuff.
And that's going to do it for us. Until next time, right here on the True Blue Riffcast.